And that sin that came in the church, and Paul says, get rid of that. Get that sin. He didn't refer to it. You see anywhere he made a good reference? He's referring to it as yeast. And if you just have a little yeast in your life, a little sin, it'll puff up and great. So he says, remove it. Get rid of it. Just a little sin. That's all it takes. Isn't that funny how God from the beginning, how he uses yeast for certain reasons? Why it's not something because yeast was bad for us to eat as a sin. But see how that is? Because we know yeast, they know it's for puffing up. It's a symbol of pride. So it's therefore a symbol of, now I've never seen a reference anywhere where, why would the Jews or Paul, when Paul referred to as good, have I seen any reference to yeast as being good? So therefore, how is the yeast that the woman's mixing in to the dough good? Right? Now let's look at also Galatians. Go to Galatians chapter 5. Seven through 9. Galatians chapter 5, 7 through 9. You were running a good race. Who cut in on you and kept you from obeying the truth? See how right there that starts off like that? So these people, they were running a good race. They were walking in the truth. But someone cut in. Wonder why that is. That kind of persuasion does not come from the one who calls you. A little yeast works through the whole batch of dough. What's he saying right there? Persuasion. Okay? Little yeast is also persuasion from the truth. A little sin will take you, that's what he's saying. Who cut in? Who was the one who cut in? We saw in the soils. Who's the one who cuts in on him? Satan. He throws a little yeast. He puts that little bad seed in there. All right, so that's what. And you notice he said a little yeast. It wasn't some great amount. Okay. You notice that I'm going to read that out of the Amplified Bible, 13. What verse are we in? 33. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven, sourdough, which a woman took and covered it over in 3 measures of a meal or flour till all of it was leavened. So one thing, if it was the gospel message, 2 things here. If people said the dough itself is the gospel message, it was covered. So it would be hidden. Does Christ hide his message? Okay, we got to look at that. We're going to look a little bit at that. Okay? Go to Matthew 11:27. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom he chooses to reveal them. So he came and he revealed them to us. So the gospel message isn't hidden. So why would I take a mixture and hide it within it? See what I'm saying? One thing, so the gospel message isn't hidden. So you got a woman who took the dough, okay, and the dough is, we're going to look at the dough was, you can find that in Genesis 8:6. And what that is was actually, someone go to 8:6. Genesis 18:6.
So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. Quick, he said, get 3 seeds. I don't know, the seeds. Of fine flour and knead it and bake some bread.
Okay. So what it was is, you remember the story of Abraham when the 3 visitors came?
Oh, yeah. What are
Okay.
seeds?
What are what?
It's a C-E-A-H-S.
Seas? I don't know. I didn't look at the word. Now you got me all flustered, right? You got off on some other things that. Yeah. Is that, what was the word? Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a measurement. There's 3 amounts. There was what he's referring to here, there was a measurement they made. There was 3 amounts. The point of this is that there was a measurement, 3 amounts of a measurement. And it was a fellowship offering. Okay? A good fellowship. So the point is, when he's saying this woman, he has that part right. The mixture was right, the 3 amounts, but what was wrong? And what do false teachers do?
They cover it.
Okay, but the thing is, see what they do? There's 3 parts. So she did the fellowship offering. There's 3 parts. The amount, of truth. Yeah, that looks real good. But what's she hide in there? False doctrine.
Well, they hide the truth.
Right. So it just took a little yeast. So what we're seeing here, this dough, equally done right, that looks really good, like we're saying, and here's the woman, okay? And why the woman? Why the woman?
Bride of Christ.
Well, the woman represents false religion. We saw that in Revelation 20, okay? Revelation 17, all right? Also, let's look at some, seriously, that's what it is. Why? We can go back even further with Nimrod and his wife, probably where it started. But remember, he's referring to this age, okay? So we've seen this in Revelation and obviously in previous ages. So the false religion is represented by, we've seen Jezebel, we see it all through Revelation. All right, so the false religion is a woman, he says, that comes along. And another thing, why it wouldn't be the gospel message, God never entrusted the word of God to a woman, but to his apostles. Okay, so it couldn't be that the gospel because he didn't entrust it to the women. All right.
But it is good we're better.
All right.
Maybe we should ask Eve about that one. That was pretty smart.
Yeah, that's really good about the woman and
Right.
false religion and the separating it equally, making it look like it's
Well,
right.
so what he's saying here, okay, so let's see, that's typical what happens is, God bring it through, start with a man. Now we see here a woman. So a woman who does what? It's the corruption of the woman. Why a woman? Because a woman's attractive and alluring.
Ooh, yes.
So it's attracting. Why the woman? See, that religion's attractive and alluring. So the false doctrine, he takes the gospel, so they take the real message. Okay, we have the real message. The 3 parts is right. And then take some false doctrine and put it, because it's alluring and beautiful. Okay, it's funny you use a woman. Now we can say we can look at Ellen G. White. There was one really big on the Adventist Church. We have Mary Baker, I think he was, Church of Science. Okay, you look at several people like that, and women exactly. It's funny. Those are just. Then we see the woman in the Revelation.
Mother Teresa.
We're not talking about like Mother Teresa. All right. So the woman represents what? So what we're seeing here, we're going to stop here today. But so what have we seen? There's the 4 soils.
Yes.
Okay.
The wheats and tares.
Right. During this time, it's going to look. We saw in Daniel even this tree looks beautiful, and don't we see that now?
Yeah.
A lot of the false. There's another thing we see going on too: the ordaining of women.
Yes.
Okay, it contradicts the Word of God. It doesn't seem so bad. Okay, but is that false?
Yes.
It is false. Why? Because men are better than women. So it's kind of funny. We just did Jude and we did some other things. We did 1st and 2nd John. Isn't it funny how this all matches up? The word matches up.
Okay. Earlier you said something about how people will talk about the Bible contradicting itself, and really it doesn't. Well, I think that people who make the Bible, by the way they interpret it, contradict itself. And this right here is a really good example, because at the bottom of this Bible it's saying what this person thinks it means. The commentary at the bottom, and I'm reading it, and everything it's saying is contradicting other parts, because, okay, you were talking about the mustard seed or whatever.
Right.
The tree was like an abomination. It grew into something it wasn't supposed to. Well, this down here, it says the mustard seed was the smallest seed a farmer used.
Right.
Jesus used this parable to show that the kingdom has small beginnings, but will grow and produce great results.
Right. That's the most popular teaching.
That's a huge contradiction. And then also, right underneath it, you were talking about the yeast and how, and even the birds. Okay?
Right.
And that ties into, as you said, the birds were demons.
Right.
Birds are bad.
We saw that previous, right?
Yeah, we saw that previous. That's how it still is. Well, the yeast was bad, and
Right.
nothing here said the yeast was good. Okay.
Right.
But this right here says in other Bible passages, yeast is used as a symbol of evil or uncleanness. Here, it is a positive symbol of growth. Although yeast looks like a minor ingredient, it ferments the whole loaf. Although the kingdom began small and was nearly invisible, it would soon grow and have great impact on the world. So once again, it's like people are interpreting this and making the Bible contradict itself. If they believe it's this way over here, and then they come over here and they read this and then believe it like this, I think that's what people are referring to when they're saying that the Bible is contradicting itself. Because right here, this person, the way this person's interpreted it, is contradicting.
Now that's how most people right there interpret it. But see, you won't find, we have to let the Bible interpret the Bible. You won't find anywhere that yeast is called good.